I think we are live.
Oh, we are live. Yes. Hello and welcome to another Sales Shiro. My name is John Golden from Sales Pop, online sales magazine, and Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from a sunny San Diego. And today I'm joined, as always, by my colleague Martha Neumeister, who is in Vienna, Austria. And we are delighted to welcome to this Sales Shiro Spotlight session Chidima Obiweke, who is in Lagos, Nigeria. First time we've had somebody from Lagos, Nigeria, live on this event. Again, this is where we put a focus on women who are making a big difference in sales. And today we're going to talk about AI-driven sales strategies for market expansion. If you are watching, please put your questions in the chat, or just introduce yourself, say where you're from. We love to know who is joining us and who is watching us. So please do that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. Like I said, if you have questions, put them in the chat. Martha will let me know, and we'll get right into it. So Chidima is dynamic and results-oriented profession with a proven track record in sales, digital marketing, client relationship management. But as I said, today we're going to talk about the role of AI in sales. So let's start off first of all with sales forecasting, Chidima. What role can AI play in sales forecasting, like with predictive? Have you seen AI, or have you used AI to be able to generate more predictive forecasting?
Yeah, thank you so much, John. So I wanted to do a brief introduction of myself. Thank you for that introduction. So in my experience, AI is a total game changer for sales, and the reason behind it is that because it can serve as a super smart assistant that help you to quickly automate your lead generation, and just basically help you personalize outreach and also predict market trends. So by predicting market trends, it can do that more than humans. And also in terms of being able to predict in terms of forecast, using AI to, because you can be able to predict the market trends, right? And also be able to do some sort of personalized email that can help you predict your forecast, your daily forecast, and also your monthly forecast. Of course, as you are aware, John and Berna, you are aware that basically sales is all about numbers, and what salespeople do is basically to drive revenue, and you know being able to show those numbers even before the end of the month or the end of a quarter is quite important.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and you mentioned there about personalization, and that's a really big thing that obviously AI can bring to the table. But you also mentioned about being able to see market trends. So can you explain, like, maybe some of the ways you use tools to AI tools in order to track market trends?
Okay, thank you so much, John. So one of the ways that I use to use AI to track market trend is that I use AI to closely monitor first of all, what our competitors are doing online. So I do that to understand what the competitors are doing, what they're after, where they're going to. I also use the AI to kind of be able to, instead of having to, go into different, social media or basically browsers to try to gather those data. I use the AI to be able to gather this data to inform me what is the public saying about a particular product or a particular service that I'm selling. Yes, so
Yeah, no, that's great, because I think sometimes people, get so caught up in their own product or service that they don't actually look at, they just assume they know what's going on in the market or whatever, and they don't do that extra research. But now, you have the tools. You have the tools to do that. What are some of the tools that you have found particularly useful for sales?
thank you so much, John. So one of the, there are a couple of tools that I have been able to use. It just really depends on what exactly what exactly. So we have tools that would help you with your pipeline generation. So tools such as the LinkedIn Navigator, which is quite popular. We have Apollo. We also have tools that will help you with in terms of to help you to be able to bring all these customers into a single channel. These are the popular CRMs. Of course, we do have the likes of yours, which is Pipeline now, which is a very well-known CRM. But we also have other CRMs that quite a number of them that are in the market, the likes of the HubSpots, the Zohos, and what have you. You have a lot of them in the market, and most of them are quite robust. Then we have tools also that can help you closely do different sets of marketing, in the sense that it helps you to it helps you to be able to reach out to different individuals with different touch points, which is which it can be a very difficult thing in sales. So a lot of sales rep have challenges reaching out to multiple same person, right, through different channels. So we have the likes of Rely.io, which is also very good at that. So with Rely.io, you can also reach out to different. You can reach out to the same individuals via email, via WhatsApp, via their social media. Just be able to track what their response is. It's just like it's basically like a multi-channel approach that I also use. Then you also have tools in sales that helps you to be able to sort of kind of harvest people's emails. And a lot of CRMs do that, right? But also, like, LinkedIn also is very good at that, especially when you have the paid version, the LinkedIn Navigator. You're able to get emails of C-level executives, people you want to reach out to. Yeah. So there are just a couple of tools. It really depends on your kind of business. Again, because we are speaking into AI, it would be nice that you use AI to be able to get the exact tool that will be good for you. Now, if you want to craft, let's say, emails, your email messaging, you could use everybody uses ChatGPT, but again, using the paid version is always better. I mean, that's one of the tips I would like to drop here. If you use the paid version, it's a lot better because it just helps you to remove it gives the human touch to whatever conversation that you're crafting. Then you have a lot of them. You have Claudia, you have Grok, you have DeepSeek. They're just a lot. A lot of them have different specialties. So it would be nice that if you're looking at using a specific AI, you just do your research, then you use that.
Yeah. So how can one of the things that people are concerned about, or maybe trying to figure out right now, is and this is a question from the audience, is like, what is the balance, or how do you balance the use of AI in sales with the human interaction, like the human piece? How do you balance both of those so you get the best out of AI, but also you get the best out of the human, so it's the best of both worlds?
Thank you so much, John. So how I do that is basically how to do that balance is so for instance, when that's where personalization comes in, right? So you want to be able to personalize each emails, or each whatever you're doing has to do with personalization, and that's why a lot of the AI, they do sell they have the paid version, because the paid version gives you that human touch where it doesn't, it gives you the human touch of the AI. So a lot of times when you use the paid version of ChatGPT, you would probably not be able to detect, even when you put it on an AI detector, you would not be able to detect that it was AI generated. So how to basically just balance it is that make sure you whatever information you get from the AI, make sure you go through it, you read it again, because a lot of times there's always like a few mistakes, a few errors in AI. So you have to be able to read. Also, you can also train your AI to be able to deliver the exact thing that you want. So, for instance, John, and also to the audience again, that ChatGPT, most of the AIs, you can train them. So all you need to do is to make sure that you put in the exact prompt that you want, so that you get the exact result that you want, right? Yes. So that's how I do that balancing.
Hmm. And then when you're doing your outreach and you're generating leads, how can AI help with lead scoring and with identifying which are the best leads, which are the ones to go after?
Okay, thank you, John, for that question. So, basically, how I use AI to, do lead, to generate lead scoring is that it starts from the beginning of when I start doing my research about a company. And that's where AI starts to help me, right?
Mhm.
So, for instance, if I'm targeting different sectors, I use AI to help me to fine tune what particular sector needs my specific product. So that's automatically leads me to the exact people that I'm looking for, right? And also in terms of when you're talking about lead scoring, a couple of AI tools. What does most of these lead scoring could be the CRM tool. So once you're able to get these leads into your CRM, then you can be able to you can also go into the analytics of the CRM. Most CRM have their
Mhm.
analytics that will help you to do the lead scoring, see the leads that are the leads that are the leads that are more, in terms of more important, people who are engaging with your emails, people you should reach out to, the C-level executives, or whoever is your target market, right? So these are the people, these CRM tools help you. So they kind of work hand in hand. You really can't, oftentimes and not, you can't, use an AI to be able to get A to Z. That's where the
Mhm.
CRM tools come in. CRM tools help you to
Yeah.
kind of fine tune them and just makes it a lot better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And another question here that Martha's just sent over to me is, um, this is around adoption, right? What are some of the skills that are needed for people to be able to adopt AI properly? I mean, what skills do they need? What technical skills or whatever? So how do you get adoption by salespeople of AI, and what do they need to know about it?
Thank you, John. One of the things that I mean can help for adoption and also for salespeople is that first of all, you need to be hungry for knowledge. You need to be really, really hungry, and that's how I got used to using different AI tools. Secondly, I follow a couple of people on LinkedIn and also on social media that talk about AI, and there are specific people who talk about the latest AI. So, for instance, I have certification on Google AI. I have Microsoft and Google AI certification for basically generative AI, but that's not enough. So I do follow a closely on people who talk about AI. These are people who build the AI. Some of them are really, really, really fast paced. So they talk about, oh, this is the latest AI in they tell you that this is the latest AI to help you with presentations, to help you do your presentations in minutes. They also talk about how to use AI to help you with let's say if you're coding. So these are the people I follow, and I make sure, like, I literally, like, if I could pin them on LinkedIn, I would pin them. But because they are constantly posting, that it just helps my knowledge base. And oftentimes than not, most of these I call them AI influencers.
Hmm.
They always give tips on how to navigate ChatGPT, Grok, and all that. And they just keep doing the comparison, and that just really helps me. So I follow closely with that. But aside that, just to help you to read better, it would be nice that there are a lot of free AI certifications. The ones I took were free. Google has a lot on their Google library, and Microsoft also has a lot of that. Even ChatGPT also currently has a couple of courses that are free. So anyone can dive into those courses and read about them, and just get certified and get up to date with the latest AI features.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great advice. I mean, yeah, I think if you're going to succeed in sales or in anything, quite honestly, I mean, you need to You need to educate yourself, as you said. You need to be very, insatiably curious. You need to really want to learn this stuff, and as you said, I mean, even taking those certifications. I often say to people, like, sometimes people say like, oh, my company or whatever hasn't trained me in this or hasn't done anything in this, and I'm always like, why are you waiting for your company to do it? Nobody cares as much about your career as you do. So go
Exactly.
and invest in yourself. As I often say, you probably spend money on your hobbies. How much money do you spend on developing skills for what actually puts bread on your table?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And the
So
good
yeah.
thing, like you said, yeah, so there are just a lot of them. They are free versions. So
Mhm.
most of them are free. I don't think I've seen any AI. In fact, what people do now is to monetize the free version, right?
Yeah.
So if you do not want to read, they monetize the already free thing to you. So it's best to just use the free version available.
Yeah. I think we've some more questions, Martha.
Yes, we have a lot of. Oh,
Oh,
okay. How do AI-driven strategies differ between B2B and B2C sales environments?
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Martha, I didn't get that.
Yeah. So basically, do you adopt different strategies for selling business to consumer or business to business? Like, could you use different tools or different strategies?
Yes, yes, yes. So for B2B and B2C, there are different strategies. I used to work with B2C. Between B2B and B2C, I think B2C is a lot easier to sell because you're dealing with people and you have to talk to them individually. And is it that they're going to buy or they're not going to buy? Now, with B2B, you have to really, really strategize and you really have to narrow it down. And the reason behind that is that you are talking to a few you're talking to just one or two people, and you're also talking to decision makers. Aside that, these decision makers have people that they report to, they have the board and all that. So the decision does not lie with them. So um, that's why there are different strategies between B2B and B2C. Now for B2B, that's where I feel like the AI tools or the sales tools are very, very important. In fact, I feel like a lot of sales tools were built around B2B because they are it's quite the conversion rate is really the conversion timeline rather is really long. I mean the gestation period is really long as compared to B2C. So the different strategies I would do, I mean, if I was, if I was working in a B2B company, or if I had to sell a B2B product, is first of all, I would use, of course, I will do my market research, and that's where AI comes in. That's where you have, you have Google. I'll do like a thorough, comprehensive a market research. Now I also do some sort of competition research to just see what my competitors are doing, and also I would also look for areas where my competitors haven't gone. So that's one of the key things I did, and that's how I was able to increase revenue where I previously worked to 35%. So I literally targeted areas where our competitors hadn't gone to, and that's what AI did for me. So I would target because I would channel my energy to where my competitors are to help me to be able to convert quickly. Yeah, so that's what I would do using doing B2B if I were doing B2B. Now for B2C, I would use in terms of AI and also the tools available. Because of B2C a lot of B2C has to do with field work.
Mhm.
You have to do like field work. You have to go out as compared to B2B. I'll use them to kind of, craft my messaging. I'll also kind of be able to use, I'll also use AI as well as WhatsApp. WhatsApp is also a channel for, selling
Mhm.
B2C a lot. So I'll use that to be able to reach out to a lot of individuals. It will just, that's one of the things. There are a lot of things I can talk about, but they're just, I can't really speak on everything. But those are one of the things I would
Mhm.
do. Yes. And I've done it in the past, and that has given I and my team proven results.
Yeah. So another question I see here is, how do you, how do, as you scale in that, how can sales leaders, how can they, again, how can they preserve, make sure that there is that human connection, but at the same time using automation and AI and all those other things? So how can they ensure, especially in B2B, that you've got that human connection, you're doing that relationship building, but you're also using these tools to be productive?
Okay, so how I would ensure and how leaders can ensure that they have that human connection is that what I do is that I try as much as possible to be able to get the phone numbers of these individuals I reach out to, because really it's not enough for you to send an email. Once you send an email, it's not enough to send an email. So what I do is I do get their phone numbers and I try to personalize that messages that are going to them via WhatsApp. I also set up calls. So I put a call to them as well, and I also send them WhatsApp messages. So those two things are the two ways I've been able to retain B2B customers. So in terms of sending out personalized messages via WhatsApp, because I do have their their WhatsApp number, I also use the tools to kind of personalize that message. I also ask them that I understand that a lot of them would want to put a face to who they are speaking with, and also to put a voice to the emails that they've been getting. I also kind of request that, if they have a time on their hands and if they would like to speak with me, and also if you can have like a quick call, let's say via Zoom or via Microsoft. And also sometimes it can get beyond that. We can also go out for like lunch, just to keep to have that personal touch with that customer, because a lot of times once you're able to break that barrier and have that personal touch with the customer, then you're able to get referral from the customers, right? Which makes it a lot easier. You're not going about chasing you're chasing people. You just have one customer who you have a personal touch with, and you keep getting a lot of referrals. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and just going back to something you mentioned earlier, I think it was really important, was that you said you were able to increase revenue in your last organization by being able to identify gaps in the market, or play where your competitors didn't serve a market or a part of a market, and you were able to target that. Can you just talk a little bit more about that, because that's very interesting?
Okay, thank you, Jen. So what I did in my previous place of work, so we do have a particular product, which of course we were not, it wasn't a monopolistic product. We had other competitors who also sold the same product. So what I did was that we had different sectors. We had the real estate, we had fintech, we had the banking sector. There were just a lot of sectors that we had to target. Then what I also did is that I then looked at, and I started reading news articles via Google, right? I started looking at people who were talking about, it was RegTech. I started looking at people who were talking about them. And then for some reason, there was a regulation at that time, government regulation, that demanded that a couple of sectors had to be needed this particular service, right? And they needed this particular service. And what it means is that we had more people, we had more sectors to deal with. So before that, our competitors were obviously chasing the obvious ones, the fintech, the banks, and all that. Then I stumbled on a news article. In fact, it was an iGaming sector. I call it iGaming. It's called gambling sector. So I followed closely. Yeah. So I put a notification on that particular newsletter, and I literally was getting emails, and I was also getting like Google prompts to tell me that, oh, this person has posted. It was almost like I was monitoring them, because I was following them on LinkedIn as well, and just making sure that anytime there is a post on that particular, anytime that individual or that newsletter was posted, I read through. So that's where I was able to get that news that the government had asked the iGaming sector to do X, Y, and Z. So then I said, I created another, on my CRM tool, I had to create a different, I just created a sector for that particular iGaming. Yeah, so I started chasing, I started reaching out to different companies. I, reached out to the top companies in the iGaming sector, reached out to them, then went to LinkedIn and started reaching out to the exact people that I was looking for. And these exact people were the legal team, the people that were in charge of the legal teams, because those were the people that, that were meant to, so they were meant to ensure that these iGaming the iGaming companies were
Mhm.
in tune with the regulations, right? So I was reaching out to the legal team and just operation managers and all that. And eventually I started getting traction from that. And in fact, this particular company that I broke through was that it took me 90 days, yes, to break through, because the first time I reached out to the legal person and there was no response from her. There were like two responses on LinkedIn, right? I just got two responses, but she just went MIA on me.
Mhm.
Then I had to reach out to the head of customer engagement, and that was how I was able to break through. So it's not enough. So oftentimes than not, a lot of people reach out to, let's say you reach out to the CEO and you don't hear
Yeah.
anything from them and you just think that it's over. So what I do is that you reach out to three people that are connected to what you're looking for, because one of them could be the person that will give you that breakthrough. So as soon as I reached out to that person, and I also did put a call, I reached out, I sent emails and I put a call. I found out that putting a call it kind of made, like, it was a lot easier, because when I put a call, I quickly tried to set up a meeting, and I
Mhm.
also told the person that I have been speaking with X, Y, and Z, and that but I haven't been able to get through, and this is
Right.
what I have to offer. Yes, so that's how I was able to break it. That's how I was able to break through that company. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. So using, yeah, like, I mean, it's fascinating for anybody listening out there, especially, you're going in the second half of the year. It's a good time to maybe look at your own market, your own segments, do some gap analysis and see maybe there's an opportunity out there that you haven't seen before. In the last few minutes, Chidinma, where do you see the future of AI and sales? What do you, how much more do you think AI is going to impact sales?
Okay, thanks, John. And so I think that AI is going to be a lot of is going to have a very huge impact on sales. And the reason behind it is that I also feel that anybody who hasn't learned how to use even just the basic AI tools will be dropped off, because a lot of companies are looking for people who know how to use AI. A lot of things are automated now. People,
Mhm.
in fact, there are new AI tools being built every day. You have the likes of Clay, and you see companies that when they, during their job description, they're asking you that, can you use, let's say for instance, they can ask if you can use Pipeliner CRM, they can
Mm.
ask you if you can use Clay. These are the ones they don't have the strength to start. I feel like from the JDs I've seen, job descriptions I've seen, they don't have time to start doing some sort of training. They want people who just start quickly. So if you're not in tune with using like the basic AI tool to help you to be fast with conversion and also to drive that revenue, then you just really be dropped off in the job market. So AI is coming into sales very, very fast. A lot of is really, really fast now. A lot of companies are also selling there are a lot of sales reps that are now automated. Sales reps are now AI tools. They do the prospecting. They reach out to these clients, and these are AI doing that. So again, you need to be able to use all these tools, and also be informed of what is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Right now, those AI, sales development reps or whatever, the ones that can outreach by phone and voice and all that. I don't think they're quite there yet. They haven't quite there yet. But I agree with what you're saying. But I think it's an interesting thing there, and I think this is a good thing for people to note out there. Is, as you said, it's people are going to expect you to have these skills. It's not going to be like, oh, we'll hire you and we're going to train you up on these AI. They're going to expect you to have it, like in the old days where, can you imagine like going back a number of years and not knowing how to use email properly, or never having used, maybe Word or, Excel or whatever. These are things that people would expect you to know. And I think you're right. I think it's going to be about that with basic AI tools. Like, people will expect you to have that skill set already. They'll expect you to have figured it out, not the other way around. So, listen, we're right up against the end of time, Chidima. This has been fantastic. Some great insights, great questions as well. Before we go, Chidima, is there anything else you want to share with the audience?
Well, AI is, I mean, the what I can say all in all is AI is here to stay. I know that a lot of people, I see the comments on LinkedIn where people are kind of against AI and even talking about how they receive messages that AI drafted. So the thing is, AI is here to stay. Tech is here to stay, and tech is really fast paced. And the best thing to do is ensure that, you're being informed, ensure that you're hungry, and, just keep doing what you have to do to stay on top of your game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, thanks again. Thank you, Martha in Vienna, for looking after the chat and keeping everything going.
Welcome.
Yeah, great session today. Thank you again, Chidima, for joining us again. Lagos, Nigeria, fantastic. It's such. You're talking about technology. Isn't it an amazing world we live in today, where we can be? I'm here in San Diego on the west coast of the US. Martha is in the middle of Europe, there in Vienna, Austria, and you're on the west coast of Africa.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
That's still tech, right? So it just brings people together, and it just seems like you're just at the back, you're just in the next room. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
you're really far.
I know, absolutely. All right. Well, listen, thanks again. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And make sure you share this. You share this stream later from LinkedIn, YouTube, anywhere, Facebook, anywhere that it is streaming live. We stream live on multiple platforms, on YouTube, SalesPop, on Pipeliner YouTube, on Pipeliner LinkedIn, on Pipeliner X. So please do share the recording, comment, and thank you again. And we will see you for another Sales Shiro very soon. Thank you.